Welcome everyone to day 13 of the Seance at the Whitney. We're getting down to the wire now. We're halfway finished with our murder mystery extravaganza. This is going to be a fun night, you guys. Here we go. This is our schedule as we do every night. Try to keep it real close to this timeline. Forgive me if we are a little off by a couple of minutes. Please make note, we will not be having an event tomorrow, which is Valentine's Day the 14th, or for those of you on the other side of the planet, the 15th. We're just not going to be here. So actually, we will be here the 15th, but not the 14th, but it's going to be, forget it. Time travel doesn't work for me. Okay, here we go. The Seance at the Whitney. This is an interactive indie author virtual book festival where we share author readings with you. We play a really silly interactive improv mystery game, and we give away books every night. We have an amazing roster of authors participating. Please go back and watch the replays, check out their work, buy their stuff. They're amazing human beings, and we need to support them as much as humanly possible. Or, you know, if you're a visiting ET, as much as not humanly possible. The readings this evening, we're going to have a good time. Donna Newman is reading from her children's book, I Can't Give Him a Valentine. And Justine Manzano is reading from her book, The Order of the Key. So we are going to start tonight with Miss Donna. Please, you should have screen share capability. So when you are ready, take over the screen, take over the microphone, and read aloud. Your microphone is not working. You need to start again. I'm not hearing you. Okay, let's do this. Stop. We're going to see, technology is a grand thing. Okay, I'm turning off your shared screen. All right, now speak to me, Donna. Let's see if your microphone works now.
Could you about my microphone? Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your phones.
Okay, you want to try sharing your screen again, and let's do it? Did it work?
Can you see it again?
There, now I can hear you. Okay, go.
All right. Okay. Annie has a new neighbor named Cody. He moved from Pinewood City, which is a place Annie has always wanted to visit. It looks so glittery, and Annie loves glitter. Cody has a pickleball court in the backyard. He's out there playing all the time. It looks like fun. Last week, Cody came to school in his Quail Taekwondo uniform and did a demonstration. It was so cool. Plus, he has a purple belt, which is Annie's all-time favorite color. But the best thing about Cody is his hearing aid. If he takes it out and cups it in his hand, it whistles. When he does it in class, the teacher can't figure out where the whistling is coming from. It's the funniest when he does it during silent reading. Everyone thinks Cody is amazing. Annie thinks he's more amazing than carrot cake. But Annie is worried. Everyone is planning to give Cody's gift at the class Valentine's party, but Annie's family doesn't do Valentine gifts. Annie is afraid Cody will like the other kids more than her because they will be giving him gifts. Julie is giving him a heart pillow with a pickleball on it. Rhonda is going to give him glitter crayons and a sports coloring book, and Maggie is giving him sports stickers. But Annie doesn't have anything to give Cody. In fact, Annie won't even be going to the party. Her Aunt Connie is going to pick her up for lunch. Aunt Connie is Annie's favorite aunt, and she usually loves spending time with her. But today, all Annie can think about is not being able to give Cody a gift. She's sure he will like all the other kids more, and that makes Annie sad. As she climbs into Aunt Connie's car, she wonders which gift Cody is going to like best. Aunt Connie interrupts her thoughts. What's up with the glum face? Aren't you ready for adventure? I do not have a glum face, snaps Annie. Okay, but you know, if you keep doing that, your face might get stuck that way. Annie chuckles. No, it won't, but she quickly smiles. But the smile doesn't stay. As they eat a lunch of asparagus tacos and carrot cake milkshakes, all Annie can think about is Cody's Valentine box filled with gifts. Who will he choose to be his best friend? Then Annie has another thought. What is he going to think when he doesn't see a gift from her? Is he going to think she doesn't want to be his friend and that she's an awful person? The more Annie thinks about it, the sadder she gets. She shouts in her head, he doesn't know. I can't give him a Valentine. Annie sighs, knowing it's too late to worry about the party, but she does worry. She worries while riding bikes to the park and when painting rocks that they found on their ride. She even worries while her and Aunt Connie dance and sing their favorite song, 10,000 Quills. Annie really wants to be Cody's best friend, but she knows Cody is at school right now, making new friends and choosing his best one. What's up, sour pup? Aunt Connie asks. You've been a sulky porky all day. I am not sulky, answers Annie. Definitely can't tell with that upside down frown, Aunt Connie says as she taps Annie on the nose. If you aren't going to tell me, I'm not going to make popcorn and watch porcupines in time. That is Annie's favorite movie, and Annie knows Aunt Connie is serious. So she sighs and tells her about how amazing Cody is. She talks about the Valentine's gift everybody is giving him, and by the time she gets to telling her why she's worried that Cody is never going to be her friend, she is crying in Aunt Connie's lap. Wow, that's a lot of stuff to worry about, Aunt Connie says, handing Annie a tissue. No wonder you've been a sour pup. But why do you think Cody won't be your friend? Annie takes a deep breath, sighs, and says, because I can't give him a Valentine. So because you aren't giving him a present, he won't like you? Aunt Connie asks. Yes. Do you really want someone to be your friend only because you gave them a present? Because I think that isn't a real friend. Annie knows her aunt is right, but still deep down, she's worried. Cody is never going to be my friend. Aunt Connie pats her on the head. I think you need to give him a chance. Before Annie can respond, the doorbell rings. It's Cody. What happened to you? I brought you your homework. Annie tells him about her afternoon with Aunt Connie. She even introduces him to Aunt Connie and shows him her painted rocks. Oh, you're lucky, Cody says. Your day was much more fun than mine. But didn't the class have the Valentine's party? Ugh, Cody says. I don't like Valentine's Day. I don't like parties, and I don't like getting presents. What? Annie is shocked. You don't like parties? Cody points to his ear. Parties are loud and hurt my ears, and I end up getting headaches. That makes sense, thought Annie. But you don't like presents? People giving me presents makes me feel funny. Why are they giving me presents? Because they feel sorry for me? Because they want something from me? Valentine's is the worst because I think they won't like what I gave them or they'll just throw it away. Cody shrugged. I know that sounds silly. Kind of, thought Annie. Then she realized she didn't need a gift to show Cody she wanted to be his friend. She just needed to show him that she could be a good friend. She smiled at Cody. No, but would asking you to teach me how to play pickleball make you feel funny? Only if you're joking, chuckled Cody. As she ran to get her jacket, she saw Aunt Connie smiling. She smiled back because she knew that Cody was going to be a good friend, maybe even her best friend.
You, Donna, that was an amazing book. I love your stories. They're always so much fun, and the artwork is great. Can you tell us who the illustrator was on that book, pretty please?
Alexander Rosso.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, here we go. We are going to move on now to Justine Manzano. Do you have a copy of your book so you can show it on the screen? There it is. The Order of the Key. Dun, dun, dun. So, Justine, when you are ready, please take the microphone and read aloud.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to tell you that this is book 1 of a series, and book 3 actually released today. So I'm super excited, and the timing was perfect because I didn't even tell Diana that before we scheduled this.
Didn't even tell me that. Thank you. I'm very excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. To catch you up, I guess, on where you are, because it's a little bit further in the story. What you need to know is our main character, Jacqueline, has superpowers, basically. She has enhanced senses and strength, and the boy that she's talking to, Kip, has perfect memory. So that and that she just kind of figured out that the superhero thing is not really what she wants to do. It's a bad plan.
Okay.
And here we go. I just want to talk. Remember, you can kick my butt, he whispered to her. He had a point, but more importantly, I trusted the boy from the dream, the one who'd taken a blood oath to never leave me, only to have my mother yank me away, my once best friend. I stepped back and allowed him into my room, closing the door behind him. Are you okay? We asked in unison, then stared at each other, waiting for a response. I'm okay, I said, but as I spoke, I saw Kip more clearly, and it was a shock. He looked ill, almost gray in tone. I heard something, screaming, and don't tell me I was dreaming because I was wide awake when I heard it, as wide awake as I am now. He swallowed hard, his eyes drifting shut. You weren't trying to leave, were you? No, not yet. Good, because you can't, he stammered. His attention dropped to the string on his sweatpants, which he promptly began twirling and untwirling. You can't leave, not without getting hurt. Killed. You shouldn't. You can't. My eyes narrowed and my stomach sank. What's going on with you? He huffed a humorless laugh. Nothing you need to worry about. I tried again, more forcefully. Kip, you don't look good. A weak smile crossed his lips and he plowed his hand through his hair. Well, thanks, Jax. I rolled my eyes. You look good. You just don't look well. What? I mean, you look like... Stop talking, he laughed. Then he closed his eyes and breathed deep. When they reopened, he seemed more composed. It was me. I fell asleep downstairs in the sitting room and I had a nightmare, a bad memory from a past mission. Really? I said. Look, I'm already embarrassed you heard me, okay? Can I skip the details? It was me, but everything's fine. Except I'd seen embarrassed from him in the car. He blushed. This was twitchy, fidgety. He was lying to me and I wasn't sure why, but I didn't know him well enough to butt in and figure it out. Besides, he had Kylie for that. Fine, I'll accept your explanation, but I won't accept that you look ready to fall over. I do? He forced his shoulders back. Sorry, the nightmare has me rattled. Is there any way I can help? I asked. Use my healing thing? He chewed on his lower lip for a moment. Yes, but I don't want to knock you out. Mother will expect you up bright and early tomorrow for training. There's one possibility. Remember that blood oath we took? It's about the only thing I do remember. Why? Well, if it worked the way I think it did, it was like it should have connected us. We may be able to use the bond it created to do things you can't do with your average Aegis. How would I know? I haven't even learned what an average Aegis can do. He offered me a shaky grin. We might be able to trade energy. If we can, you won't lose anything, and I can heal myself with your ability. Just give me your hand. I lifted my hand up, palm facing outward, and waited. His trembling hand pressed against mine. Imagine it, he whispered, like in the card. Guide the energy away from you. I envisioned giving him some of my healing, my hand warm, and the warmth traveling out of me as his traveled back through my palm and up my arm. His eyes closed, and he slid his fingers between mine, holding my hand. As he sighed deeply, the color returned to his cheeks, and his shaking slowed to a stop. My heart banged against my ribs. When his eyes reopened, they stared back into mine. Thank you. He didn't let go of my hand. I had to force myself to speak. Like you said, I should be getting to sleep. He smiled. I suppose. He didn't move. Good night, Kip. I let his hand drop. I just met him, and he had a girlfriend. Good night, Jax. He headed for the door, but turned as he touched the knob. Kylie. What about Kylie? I really didn't want to hear about her. She's not. Mother introduced her. He ran another hand through his dark hair, making it completely unruly. I bet it's soft. Shut up, Jacqueline. It's politically motivated, he said, an arranged thing. I'm not interested. Why are you telling me this? I knew exactly why he was telling me this. No reason. You said if you took me away from here and dropped me in the city without any of this, I wouldn't exactly celebrate. Well, I would. I'd dance in the damn streets. His voice got wobbly on that last statement, and it stabbed at my heart. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I don't know you. He smiled. Oh, you do. You just have to remember again. Welcome home, Jax. Sleep well. He left the room. I would have liked to talk to him more. And if he hated it here, when it was time for me and Ganna to leave, maybe I'd take him with me.
You both finished early tonight. This is unprecedented. It's fantastic. Good job. I've already added this book to my TBR, so thank you, Justine. And I want to thank both of our authors one more time before we move on to our regularly scheduled insanity. Donna Newman, she wrote a book called I Can't Give Him a Valentine. There it is. Porcupines. She's written 3 books about porcupines now. You should check them out. Justine Manzano wrote a book called The Order of the Key. There it is. I love that cover. Very well done. So those are the 2 books we're giving away tonight. So stay tuned for the spinning wheel of happiness. You never know what might come. All right, here we go, you guys. Time to move on to the mystery. Here we are, 13 days in. The Seance at the Whitney. Here's the recap for anybody who may have missed it. At the Ghost Bar inside the Whitney Manor, an historic Detroit estate, a world-famous psychic medium has come for an exclusive, invitation-only seance. With so many curious about spiritualism around the world, this event promises to connect the living and the spirit worlds, opening doors to mysteries that transcend time and space. But when the seance spirals into a chilling rendezvous with a vengeful spirit and a shocking murder, it falls upon those in attendance to unravel the truths hidden in the darkest depths of the past. A spirit is summoned, vowing revenge on their killer. One of the guests becomes hysterical, claiming the spirit is there for them. Suddenly, the lights start flickering and the wind pushes the windows open, extinguishing the candles around the room. The room and everyone in it are thrust into darkness. When the light returns, that same hysterical guest is lying on the floor, dead. Who killed them? Why? Was it the furious spirit or something far more earthly? This is your quest. Find the murderer, figure out the why, solve all the questions. Boy, do we have questions. Your cast. The medium is the great Christopher Gare. Christopher's assistant is Donna Newman. The author is Amy Kelso. She is not in the room tonight. The socialite is Dawn Menge. The spouse of our deceased guest is Jules Nelson. She is not in the room tonight. The super fan of the great Christopher is Marianne Wieland. The aloof guest is Gary Floyd. The maitre d', Melinda Falgo, is not in the room tonight, and I am your storyteller. So, for those of you who have been playing along for the last 12 days, maybe you have questions, maybe you have concerns, maybe you're just as confused as I am. So we're going to open up the floor to anyone who is interested. Feel free to turn on your microphones, raise your hand, and let's get the interrogation underway. We're getting started a little bit early tonight because our readers were so we have a couple of extra minutes. So here we go. Who has a question first? Marianne, go ahead.
I have a question for Donna. I've asked a few times when you came into the room, did you see anybody? And you have answered, if I remember correctly, that you saw no living person. Did you happen to see someone who was not living, like a ghost or somebody who was not there?
I did see somebody that is not living that was there. That was a ghost. It was the only ghost that I saw in the entire room. And he calls himself Gary Floyd.
That's wow. Okay. Tell me, so can you identify who the ghost is that has taken over Gary Floyd or fused with Gary Floyd? Do you know who that could be?
No, as I said, the only ghost that I saw was the ghost that was saying his name was Gary Floyd. That's the only thing that was there. I didn't see anybody else. I didn't see anybody possessing. I only saw a ghost that kept saying his name was Gary Floyd.
Okay. And we know that Gary has already admitted to feeling like he had been absorbed by the spirit of Nora Ainsworth. So there's an intriguing idea. Justine, go ahead.
Donna, how do you know that the ghost that claims to be Gary Floyd is a ghost?
Well, remember I told you guys that the great Christopher had a couple skills that he really thought that I would help with. And I said ambidextrous was one of them. The other one I don't really like to tell anybody about because people make fun of me for it. But I've always seen and heard voices that I found out are ghosts. And when I met the great Christopher, he actually said that he was seeing the same ghosts I have. And that was the reason he offered for me to come work with him.
So you're his backup soothsayer.
Yes, but he won't let me in, doesn't let me in charge yet. He's still really controlling. He just has me in the background, but someday I'm hoping he'll let me be part of his show.
Imagine the great Christopher controlling. Who would thought? Christopher, go ahead. You have a question?
I do. Donna, did you get into my edibles again?
No, I told you I don't like edibles. I only like to smoke it. I won't eat it.
Wow, you guys. Okay. Okay, who else has questions? Anybody else? Questions out there? Dawn, do you have your hand up? Troy Haynes, Dawn Menge, is your hand up?
No,
Okay.
but I'm a little confused. So didn't Gary say that he felt Nora and now the ghost is Gary? Does he have two? And I'm confused.
Okay, so Donna, you need to help us clarify. When you saw the ghost of Nora perceived as Gary, correct? You
That's the
saw
only ghost I
Nora's
saw.
spirit, right? Because
The
you're
only
a
ghost I saw, the only
seer.
ghost I saw was a person that kept saying his name was Gary Floyd. That's the only ghost that I saw tonight in the room at all. Was somebody who said his name was Gary Floyd, and it was a person.
Gary has mentioned that he felt like Nora Ainsworth has come into his spirit being. When he spoke his name, did he have a male or female voice when he said he was Nora?
I have nothing to say about that, but I do know that ghosts don't always say that there is really no gender with the ghost.
Okay.
I can't say that there was a male or a female voice. It was just a voice, and they said that their name was Gary Floyd.
That's
So
an
Gary
interesting
is
thing.
bispiritual.
Yes, that would be the logical conclusion.
And he goes to the storm.
Okay. Who else? Has anybody else got questions out there? Anybody? Jennifer, go
Jennifer
ahead.
does.
Jennifer, go ahead.
I'm still actually confused, Donna.
So are many
So
of us.
you walked into the room and you were aware that of all the guests, there was one ghost. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And how you knew it was a ghost? Have you met Gary Floyd before?
No, I have never met him before. And as I said, I just saw the ghost sitting there. They were there. And then when the great Christopher was doing his seance, I only saw the same ghost that was there the entire time. And then when they said their name was Gary Floyd, that was how I knew that the ghost's name was Gary Floyd. I was not
okay. And the image that you saw of the person is exactly the same as the image that we see now of Gary Floyd, but he's not actually a living person. He is a ghost.
I have nothing to say about that.
Ah, you have nothing to say about the image that you saw when you looked at this no, not an object. It's a living, breathing thing.
So did you perceive the aura of a ghost? Is that how you're able to tell flesh from spirit?
I actually see people. So sometimes I don't even know that they're ghosts until they tell me that they're ghosts. But now now that I've been watching with the great Christopher, I actually have now been able to distinguish between which is a ghost and which is not a ghost.
That's a very
So I
impressive
can't say it's an
skill.
aurora. I can just say that to me, I knew he was a ghost from the moment I saw him.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else have questions? Really? Marianne, go ahead.
My question is for the great one, the extremely great Christopher. I believe in front of you on the table, you have at least one crystal ball left. And I think there's one still on the floor, if I have heard correctly. Is that correct? You just have one in front of you now?
Yes.
Well, can you look in that thing and see if you can see what's going on? Please, for me, your biggest fan.
Do you have an open channel to the spirit world with that tiny little crystal ball in front of you, or is it currently broken?
I think it's been overused.
Well, can someone get that one up off the floor and see if that one works better? Gary, Ghost, Gary, whoever you are, can you pick it up and heave it up there on the table?
I don't know if
With a-
we want to touch it because it could be the murder weapon.
It's actually evidence.
And that's evidence. We don't want to touch it and get erroneous fingerprints on it. That could be a problem.
But
I
if
know
there's
that
a
people-
ghost, he's not going to have fingerprints.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is he even corporeal to lift the thing? I mean,
Vocabulary, Justine. Thank you.
Wow.
thank you.
Well, that's why
I
he won't
like
lean over there and poke him to see if
Good
he's
for-
dead or alive.
Well,
Well,
no
you
wonder
know-
he wouldn't do that before. He's a ghost.
Gary, I think I asked you this earlier in another session, that you said initially that when you stood up to move toward the great Christopher, after Richard fell on the floor dead, that you put your hand on the chair to steady yourself because you felt dizzy. Were you able to grasp that physical object? Did your hand go through it? What happened there?
My hand went through the chair.
Okay, and
And I do have there, as I hear a lot about Gary Floyd. I don't even know who that person is. That's the name of my book.
yeah, you said it was a character in the book you were working on, so
It was Gary
that's-
Floyd, subtitle The Greatest Story Ever Told.
okay.
You'll get it on Amazon. Just look for the aloof guest.
Okay. Does anyone else have questions? Jen Rinaldi, I'm sorry. I saw your hand up.
Your microphone's on.
Need your microphone. Jen,
You're
I'm
muted.
unmuting.
there you go. There you go. Did you have a question, Jen?
Yeah, I did. So if this incorporeal form was in the room, did anybody else see or talk to it?
Christopher, did you notice that Gary Floyd was Nora Ainsworth, or did you have an inkling that her
If you were
spirit-
so good, yeah, if
Yeah.
you're so good at this, you should have known.
Of
Did
course
you-
I knew. I just didn't know if you knew.
The great one is the very best at what he does.
Well, and we all know that magicians don't give away their secrets, so he wouldn't necessarily be forthcoming with information now, would he? Which, you know, it's who he is in real life anyway. So there you go. Does anyone else have any questions? Anybody? Miranda, go ahead.
I have a question for Troy / Dawn. Okay, so Troy is right now, clarify please, is Troy disguised as Dawn or is Dawn disguised as Troy? I'm having trouble figuring that one out.
Well, when he arrived at the seance, Troy was in disguise, what's the word? Masquerading as Dawn. But
And-
now we know she's Troy.
She's
So
Troy.
you can
Okay.
call her Troy now. Him, Troy. Pronouns get me every time. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Troy, I mean, you're obviously a master of disguise here. Have you ever disguised yourself as anyone else?
No, this was the first time and I had some professional help. And since we're in the room and I'm not able to leave the room, I have to keep my disguise on. So,
Okay.
Yeah, because you know, prosthetics and the LA team, and he couldn't take that off by himself.
Okay.
Go ahead, Miranda. Your
But
follow.
I'm just wondering, I mean, are you possibly Nora in disguise?
I have nothing to say about that. No.
I think it's only possible for two entities to share a single body at one time. I don't know that more than two people can be in an individual more than once.
Well,
So
there's
not.
this multi-personality, thing.
You know, I'm not that good a writer.
Let's hope not.
I'm just not that good a writer. So
There's actually like a real diagnosis with
That's
multiple
possible.
personalities.
We're
yeah,
gonna start calling
but-
John Sybil.
but I'm not that good a writer.
But
Donna-
bipolar times two.
Donna, go ahead.
So yesterday everybody was talking about where the blood splatters were and that there were some on the ceiling and there were some all around. But what I want to know is from all the suspects, are you wearing exactly what you came in with when you walked in the door? So Diana, are you wearing exactly what you came in with?
I've been keeping real close track of this, and I was very meticulous in my notes, and no one has changed their clothing since they have been in the door.
Well, I didn't ask if they changed. Did they take their sweater off?
Oh, there's an interesting idea. Did anyone remove an article of clothing that might have blood spatter on it?
I was a spirit when I came in, and I still am.
Yeah, I have a question for you too, Gary Floyd.
Stuff just
Oh.
goes right through you, Gary. Okay,
They're
Christopher,
going
have
right
you
past me.
taken off an article of clothing since the murder took place?
Absolutely not. Not with this crowd. I don't know how many people have been inside Gary, let alone
Now-
with Troy and Dawn. Come on.
Now, wait a second.
I'm renting out
They-
rooms here.
Day 2, you said you were wearing gloves and you took them off when the lights came on.
Yes, but I also said I don't recall even doing it.
Okay. Who else? Marianne, have you changed your clothing since the murder took place?
No, I have not. But we've been here long enough. I think everybody's getting a little rank smelling. I think we need something else in here.
I feel very eerie.
we can open a window. um,
That
Jen
would be-
Rinaldi, what was your question, Jen?
Why were you wearing gloves during the seance?
Christopher,
Part of the
great one.
outfit. I always wear gloves when I'm playing with my crystal ball.
Yes, the great one must protect his delicate hands. He must. He has to be able to handle those balls.
I like a soft touch.
Yes, he does.
Okay. Troy, we've already established you haven't taken off your disguise. Did you take off an article of clothing since the murder?
No.
Okay. And the other cast members are not here. We will ask them that on the 15th. Does anyone have any other questions? Except Charlie. We're not answering his
Marianne
questions.
have one.
Marianne, go ahead.
I do. And I don't think this has been established yet. But we have asked yesterday about there possibly being a back entrance out of the butler's pantry. And I don't recall a clear answer to that. But this is my observation. If there is indeed a back way out of that butler's pantry, couldn't someone have come up and come into the room and left the same way? Or more importantly, I mean, think about that, but more importantly, might that supposed back entrance lead to a bathroom or perhaps a kitchen where we could get some decent food. I don't know about the rest of you, but I could use both of those.
It's
Think
good to know you have your priorities in line.
Yes,
As we were speaking yesterday about the back stairwell from the pantry, Melinda said she did not recall, and Donna said she did not see one. Justine, go ahead.
The great Christopher, you said that you recognize Gary from the past. Which Gary, Nora or Gary?
No, I recognized,
It was a
Dawn.
long time ago.
Troy. He
I
said
recognized Troy.
he
You didn't recognize
Troy.
Gary as well? Someone
No.
said they recognized Gary.
Well,
Now
it
I have to
wasn't
look back at my
me.
notes.
It may
My
have been one
fault.
of the other cast members, but no, Christopher said he did recognize Troy as Dawn. He said, I think your words were something about a doppelganger on
Yes.
day
Though
one.
Okay, my
I
fault.
admit right now I'm very curious about the butler's back end because it keeps coming up.
yes, I would like to know too. And I would suggest, since Donna was the one that was in there, that she get her us up and go over there and take a look.
I'm not going in there again. There's mice, and I told you I'm deathly afraid of mice. I will not go back in that pantry.
Might have been a ghost mouse.
Jennifer Rains, go ahead.
I'm wondering why Donna hasn't already replaced the great Christopher if she recognized Ghost Gary, but he didn't recognize Ghost Gary. So have we just had the revelation of the great Christopher's skills being on the slide?
You better not tell Marianne.
No, I have to tell
He's
you,
already
I
mad.
would never replace the great Christopher. I've told you guys several times, he has saved my life. I am very devoted to him, and I will always give him credit for everything.
Okay. Gary, go
Great
ahead.
Christopher
I
didn't
have a
answer.
question.
I don't think Great Christopher would accept a replacement. Would you, Christopher?
Only when I'm ready to retire.
But he
Okay.
didn't answer whether or not he recognized Ghost Gary.
I have nothing to say about that.
I believe that Christopher has already acknowledged that he recognized Gary's voice as that of Nora, whom he was told to channel. I think that came out in like day 3 or 4.
Okay.
All right. Justine, go ahead.
I was mistaken. I looked back at my notes and it was Marianne that said that she recognized Gary.
Okay.
So where do you recognize
Marianne,
Gary
what
from?
do you have anything to say about that, Marianne?
I don't. He just looked quite familiar.
Okay.
As Gary, not Nora, right?
I don't know Gary Floyd. He looked to have quite a resemblance to Nora.
So you know Nora. Okay.
Okay. Who else? Gary, go ahead.
I have a question for Donna. She said many times that Christopher has saved her life. How did he save your life?
Yes.
That's a story I really don't want a lot of people to know. Matter of fact, the great Christopher doesn't even know that he saved my life. I've told him he saved my life, but he doesn't know the backstory about how he has saved my life.
There's only
Except
13
the
of us
only-
here.
I know, but the one thing I can say is I was in a very dark spot when I came upon the great Christopher, and when he told me that he could see the same ghosts I could see, and he took me under his wing and said that I could be his assistant. I really needed that help, and I'm so glad that he was able to help me with that, and that's the reason he saved my life.
So you've been able to see ghosts for a while.
Yes. But I didn't know they were ghosts until the great Christopher told me they were ghosts.
That's an interesting idea. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Go ahead, Justine.
Marianne, how do you know Nora?
Nora was my younger sister.
And I love the shock and awe on your face, Justine. That's just perfect. Can you tell us, in your own words, Marianne, what happened to your sister?
I don't know what happened to her. She disappeared on her wedding night, out the window of the bedroom. She was never heard from again by me or my family.
Did she leave anything behind?
She did not.
Nothing.
I
You
had,
didn't.
oh, she left. She did leave a note. She said she had something to attend to at the Whitney and she would not be returning.
There's an interesting idea. Gary, go ahead.
Was that when afterwards, as you kind of went off the deep end, it became a groupie for the great Christopher?
I don't know what happened to Nora, but I feel sure that the great one will figure that out. And I was hoping to be here at the Whitney so that he could give us his insight into that.
I'm a little curious. I'm going to ask this question, then I'll take one more and we'll be done for the night. I am a little curious, Donna. Can you tell me a little bit about how long you've been seeing ghosts?
So I have been seeing ghosts my whole life, but I didn't know that they were ghosts. My family kept telling me that I would black out and that I kept talking to people that weren't there, to the point where they actually had me committed because they said that I was crazy.
That sounds like a very dark time in your life. I can see why you would turn to someone with Christopher's talents. Anyone else have a question? This will be our last question for the evening. Anyone? Come on, you guys. One more question. Christopher, you've got to have a burning question at the end of your turban just waiting to explode.
So many questions. So many questions.
Pull one of them out, would you?
How in the world can we all be seeing Gary?
How
If he is a spirit, and we know that he is, Donna and I have established that, how is everyone else able to see him?
Gary, do you have an answer for that?
I think that sometimes that the spirit comes out when that it metastasizes when the spirit fills the body.
Hey, there's an interesting vocabulary. Go back to your dictionaries, look up metastasizes, apply it to the spirit world. You'll get an interesting answer. Okay, everybody, this is the end of our interrogation session for the evening. Thank you one and all for playing our game. Tomorrow, we will not be in the ghost bar interrogating our friends. We will be watching the replays to catch anything we may have missed, and we will be getting ready for the next installment of The Legend of the Whitney, which I will provide on the 15th. I was going to do it on Friday, but I think I've collected enough information for this second installment of the story, and my editor says I get to run it. So don't forget, show up on the 15th and you'll get even more information about the legend. Formulate your questions, ferret out the clues, get ready to sling your accusations. If you hear the phrase, I have nothing to say about that, then it could be a red herring, or it could be that the person you have asked simply just doesn't know. People are not always as bright as we would like them to be, so take that into consideration as you're listening to the replays with intense scrutiny. Wax drippings, you know the game. We're playing it. Here we go. Today's standings. The great Christopher is at 114. You guys, you gotta start naming some other authors because he's already won this contest twice, I think.
Once.
So we gotta work on this. Amy Kelso is in second place. Andrew Allen Smith is in third place. Deborah Reed is in fourth place, and Jules Nelson rounds out the top 5. The way we play this game is every time you come in to watch one of our live sessions, you name your authors. You can name more than one if you like. They collect wax strippings. We count them up the following day, and this is what we get. Whoops. Here we go. Talismans from the Spirits. This is the time when we give away books. And tonight, we're giving away the 2 books that were read this evening, which is, let me turn on, there we go. Donna Newman, hold up your book. I Can't Give Him a Valentine. The porcupines are so cute in that book. I mean, seriously, guys. Justine Manzano, her book, The Order of the Key. Really exciting. I'm going to read that one this summer. It's on my TBR this summer. So I'm super excited because it's at the beginning of a series, which means I don't have to wait for the others. I can get them in order. And the new book just came out today, right?
The last book, so you can get the whole
Third
series now.
in the trilogy, so I can
Yeah.
get them all at once and I don't have to wait at all.
Exactly.
You have played to my soft spot, literally. Okay, here we go. The first spinny wheel. I kind of have to bring the wheel up first to like spin it, don't I? It's been 14 days, you guys, 13 days. I need a break. Okay, here we go.
Diana.
Yes.
Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. Never mind.
All right. I'm just gonna double check and make sure everybody who's on the wheel is in the room, because you know how that goes. Yep. Okay, we're all. Oh, Angela left us. Okay, so we're all in the room now. Here we go. The first spinny wheel of happiness is going to be for Donna's book. Here we go. Huzzah! Huzzah. Deb, you're still in the room, right? Turn on your microphone, acknowledge your existence. Are you still here?
Yes, I exist. I'm here. I'm real. Thank you.
No more ghosts. We can only take so many ghosts in one evening. Okay, here we go. We are gonna spin the spinny wheel for Justine's book, Order of the Key. Here we go. Okay, I'm sorry, Deb, but you can't win 2 books. Gesundheit. Can't win 2 books in a row. So we're gonna spin it one more time. Hold on. So much fun. Okay, remember, spinning wheel of happiness winners. Make sure that you email me your mailing address at diana@pagespromotions.com, and I will make sure that your books get out to you from the authors. All the books are going to be shipped out by March 5th, with the exception of Christopher's book, which doesn't actually come out till June, but you know, Mandy Jo already knows that. So we're all set. Okay. I've been having a really good time all these 2 weeks. I'm really excited to see where the story comes next. I want to go around the room and ask everybody if there's one clue you wish you had the answer to, what would that question be? So put on your Jeopardy thinking caps. What is the question you want answered? We're going to start with Marianne Whelan. What's the question you want answered?
I want to know where the food is.
Again, so happy your priorities in the right place. Emma Palova, what question
I
do
want to
you have?
know, how did the great one land this gig? Why was he picked if he sucks? Why wasn't he
I can answer that. I
Okay,
have
Emma.
gigantic crystal balls.
I think Emma might be tough to top on this. Donna Newman, what question do you want answered?
The only question I really need to answer now is Gary Floyd really Gary Floyd, or is he Nora?
Okay. Christopher, question you want answered.
I want to know who Nora went to see at the Whitney the night she disappeared.
Okay. Justine, question from you.
Christopher took mine.
Okay, fair enough.
I knew you were going to ask that.
He is all powerful.
Take that, Emma.
Troy Dunn, what question would you like answered?
Well, actually, I was thinking the same lines that Emma was, since I'm the one that spent my money hiring the great Christopher, and it seems that Donna's the one that has all of the skills.
Mm-hmm.
I paid the wrong person.
Could be.
Ooh.
You know, we all make, you know, we all have buyer's remorse at one point or another, right?
I'm not so sure Christopher really has all these skills that he's been telling everyone.
Gary Floyd.
I want to know why Marianne has to have somebody go through the butler pantry to get food when I could just go through the wall and get some.
Or could you bring it back?
Again, nice
It'll be
to
imaginary food.
nice to see that we all have our priorities in line here. Jen Rinaldi, what question would you like answered?
Same as Donna Newman.
Okay. Jennifer Rains, what about you?
I think I'm interested in the gloves that the great Christopher discarded, and whether or not they might have blood spatters.
Good question. Miranda, do you have any questions you would like answered?
I would really like to know why no one has blood spatter on them. And that seems very odd because there was blood elsewhere in the room. On
Yep.
the ceiling and on the floor, like there should be, and if it is somebody in the room did it, they have to have blood on them.
You would think.
Unless there's a ghost.
You would think. Wolf, do you have one question you would like answered?
Yeah, I've been wondering for a week now if this is a paranormal story or if this is supposed to be real.
Great Christopher, will you channel Orson Welles and ask him for us? Because I think he might have the answer.
There will be no wine before it's time.
Well done. Mandy
It's
Jo
always
is
time for wine.
Mandy Jo is driving. We're not going to ask her to talk because we don't want her to get in trouble. Deb McPeak, do you have a question you might like answered?
Yes, who did it?
It is kind of why we're all here, right?
Kinda.
Angelina Hurst, do you have a question?
I don't know if she's still there.
Okay. Mackenzie, can you put your question in the chat and Christopher will ask it? And is there anybody else I missed? Did I get around the room okay?
Okay, we have a question from Mackenzie. I
Okay.
agree with who killed Richard or whatever his name is.
Yeah, his name is actually Richard. So yes, yeah, that's kind of like the goal, right? Find out who killed Richard.
Yeah.
Okay. Super fun night tonight, you guys. Make sure you come back. We are off tomorrow for the 14th. Go have a pot of chocolate fondue, indulge, enjoy, and we will meet back in the room on the 15th. And I will have another installment of the legend for you. Before we go, shots across the bow, Marianne Wieland.
This is getting really good. Be better with food.
Well, you're gonna have to call DoorDash because
I'm
I
getting
don't
the
have-
feeling that Marianne just like eats dinner right after this and she's just hungry.
Would the Whitney let us have DoorDash come in though? Because they wouldn't let us have outside food.
I don't know. You'd have to talk to Melinda about that when she comes back. Ask her that question. Gary Floyd, shots across the bow.
I'll just say that I'll go through a wall and get your food.
Good luck bringing it back. Donna Newman, shots across the bow.
I don't have any today.
Wow.
I think I've said everything. I've said more than I planned on saying, and you guys know more about my secrets than I wanted to be told.
And that in itself is interesting information. Don Menge, shots across the bow.
I'm still a little confused about the Gary and the Nora, and so maybe as we go along, it will make more sense.
We're all confused, but you know, Gary does that to us. I think it's a Bostonian accent. That's I think what confuses us. And Sir Christopher, shots across the bow.
It is official as of tonight. I have no idea where you are taking us.
Thank you for joining me on the road to we don't know where. This has been really, really fun. I am super excited about everybody's engagement this year. I am super excited that you're all really playing along, and I'm really happy to have like stumped you, because last year you all figured it out too early and I had to write a new second half. So congratulations. We're moving into the same half. So thank you very much for playing along. Don't forget, do something fun tomorrow. Hug the ones you love. Tell them that life is worth living, and have a great night. See you later.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.